anytime, anywhere. Access inspiration that never switches off. Stuck in traffic? Elevate your mood and own the moment. Just looking busy? Make every second count. Tap into Kingdom content instead. One tap, instant power, real transformation. Download the Elevate TV app now, exclusively on Google Play.
Explore a world of knowledge at Elevation Bookshop. Dive into topics like marriage, money, and spiritual growth with our vast reading materials. But that's not all. We are thrilled to introduce new additions like stationeries, notebooks, modeling clay, dictionaries, pencils, kamusi, and more. And calling all students, gear up for success with our back-to-school items, providing you with everything you need to excel in every subject. At Elevation Bookshop, we're here to assist you in finding the perfect resources for your journey. Do you have specific preferences or looking for something special? Visit us at Kenya Cinema Plaza, mezzanine floor, or contact us on 0748 902 225. Elevation Bookshop. Enrich your life.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good morning. Welcome to the Monday Morning Digest. I'm your host, 𝗪𝗪𝗓 𝗂𝗪, and as always, Monday morning we dive into conversations that educate, inform, and challenge our thinking, and help us to get to think through some of the issues that concern our nation, concern our societies, our communities. And so this morning, we are live here on Elevate TV studios, and we're going to be talking about pro-life, pastors or pastoring in the pro-life space. And I'm joined in the studio by two guests, and Pastor 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 is here in the studio. He's the coordinator of Life Equip Global. That's an organization that actually works in this space, pro-life space, where they address issues to do with the challenges associated with abortion, saving babies and all that. We'll be going into the details, but Pastor Wally is here and he's going to be talking to us. I'm also joined in the studio, my immediate left, by Pastor Sarah Kadambe. She's a trainer within the Life Equip Global, the organization that is involved in this work and ministry, I think mission to help people in this space. Very, very surprising that a lot of people are not aware that there are Christian communities that are actually engaged in the war against abortion, and abortion in the sense of abortion that is deliberate abortion that is becoming, normalized. I mean, somebody gets pregnant and decides they don't like the baby, they're going to abort that baby. So that's a big challenge. That's what we'll be talking about this morning. I know this is a sensitive conversation, but keep it here. Let's follow the conversation. I'm going to be asking my guests a series of questions, and they're going to be telling us why we need to care and what we can do as church communities, as pastors. Some of you probably have not addressed yourself to this matter. It's a major mission field, and I think it requires a lot of attention. So I want to begin with you, Pastor Wally, right on my far left. And I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and invite our viewers to follow this conversation. Yeah, so please tell us about yourself and welcome our viewers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pastor Gigi. It's a great time to be here on this show. My name is Wally Hannington, as you heard, the lead pastor for Life Church International Airways. And also, I'm in the space of pro-life. We are here to advocate for life, especially the life of the unborn. And therefore, in a nutshell, I want to say welcome on this show as we are going to walk through the journey of how to become relevant in this mission field.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Pastor Wally. Karibu sana. Pastor Sarah, please look at that camera and introduce yourself briefly and welcome our viewers.
Thank you. Well, my name is Sarah. I'm glad to be here this morning. I'm a trainer, as Pastor Gigi and Halia said. I'm a trainer with Life Equip Global, and we are here to advocate for life and to speak more about life advocacy. And we welcome you to be with us in this show. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm very happy to have you here. And I think this is very representative. So if we were just the two of us men here talking about life, pro-life, I think there's something would be missing. So I think we are very happy to have you here. I was thinking about this whole challenge of, the pro-life. And I think I'm concerned that some Christians are not aware that, of the shifting societal values regarding the value of an infant in the womb or outside of the womb. And the other thing I want to note is that the abortion industry is alive and well, and it's also well funded. Together, of course, with the idea that the abortion industry is funded, we also have the downstream industry that is trying to sexualize society and treat sex as a commodity, and some of these movements are moving even towards and embedding themselves, attempting to embed themselves in our educational system, so resulting in broken lives, broken dreams, death of infants, a lot of trouble, shame, guilt, confusion, broken lives, broken dreams. So the big question is, how can a pastor be involved in this? What can pastors do? And because you guys are here, I'm going to be listening to you tell us, so first of all, we'll start with, tell us about Life Global. Sorry, I might mix it. Life Equip Global. All right, so this organization and how big this problem is. All right, so we start with you, Pastor Wellington.
Yeah, thank you very much. What I would like to let our viewers know is that the way you said, abortion is a mission field, to say so, that has been neglected for long, especially by the church. And it is because these are some of the gray areas the church doesn't want to step into. And it is very rare to find a church talking about abortion. It will preach about faith, love, walking in righteousness, but when it comes to abortion, it's a gray hair. Yeah. So we need to come up as church and be more proactive, because the other, our opponents are really proactive. They are moving with a lot of speed, with a lot of resources, pouring in resources. And therefore, we have a responsibility as church to rise up. And that's why at Life Equip Global, we came up with a vision of saying we want to get it through the church.
Okay.
So 𝗓𝗂𝗏 Global is an organization that is here to equip the church in the area of pro-life. How can a pastor come to understand what is happening in the pro-life world and be able to know where and how they can come in and be an advocate in that space and begin to speak for life? That is why 𝗓𝗂𝗏 Global is in existence. It is here to equip church leaders, pastors, bishops, people who are influential, because the church, we believe, is a great voice, especially in Africa. We remember in Kenya we had the Shakahola case, and that shows you how powerful the church voice can be. When a church speaks, everybody listens. When a pastor speaks, it is like God speaking. So I think this is a very good place to begin. When the church, pastors, bishops and leaders begin to speak about abortion, I think we will have a greater mileage.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, thank you very much for that, Pastor Wally. I think the idea that the church needs to speak, that is a very, very important voice. Sarah, maybe you can tell us about your involvement with 𝗓𝗂𝗏 Global. You are a trainer. What do you do? How big is the problem? I still want to hear how big is this problem and how far reaching. And you know, maybe of course your organization has information, has data. How far wide is 𝗓𝗂𝗏 Global, and how many countries is it touching? And yeah, so please just go right into that conversation.
Thank you. Well, to begin with, this abortion thing, it's very huge. And I would begin by saying that we beg so many Christians to come on board to help us, because there is a lot of work to be done and there are few of us. So the work is much and we need more workers. So 𝗓𝗂𝗏 Global, as the name says, we are a global organization. We are in so many countries as per now. Pastor Wally here is the leader here in Kenya and many other African countries. So we are trying to reach to many people as we can.
Yes.
And there is a lot of work to be done. And there are so many challenges. The challenges, especially like me, when I've been to the ground, reaching to those young ladies, there are so many challenges that we've been able to experience. Some of the challenges being, as he has said, the Christian organization or the church has not yet blessed this whole thing. They have not yet come on board fully to support us in what we are doing. And so I would request the Christian fraternity and everybody outside there to come on board and help us, to join hands, because there are so many children who are being killed every day. Like the time that I've been working as a life advocate, in a week, let's say for example, I can have like at least 6 cases of people who are reaching out to us, and this shows that there is a great need outside there.
Wow.
So I would urge people to come up and help us.
Come on board, yeah. So we want as many Christians as possible to come on board and help address this issue. You know, it's amazing that, and maybe we can just talk about abortion itself as a society challenge. Pastor Wally, why is this abortion thing, you know, now becoming like we now have to talk about it, and as you say, you rightly say, it's a mission field. Why do you think the church has been slow in engaging? You know, slow in engaging, because I know there are a lot of Christians that are actually you know, doing something about it. But tell us about why maybe the church has been a bit slow. What can an average church do? And maybe you can also give us your own personal experience.
Okay. Just before I go to that, I want to say that to understand it very clearly, if globally we can lose 73 million souls every year, it shows how grave this issue is.
Wow.
And in Africa alone, we lose 8 million annually.
8 million children
Yes.
are aborted every year.
In Africa alone. And in Kenya, we are talking of between 700,000 to 800,000. And you know, these are just projectory statistics. The story could be different on the ground because statistics just gives projection.
Yes.
And sometimes you may find the numbers are more bigger than what statistics give. And therefore, going to your question about the church, I think the church has been very passive when it comes to abortion. First of all, because of lack of knowledge. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. But when they gain knowledge, they flourish. And therefore, the church has not been educated more about how sensitive, how grave this issue is.
Okay.
So the church is living and trading in ignorance. And that's why the church could seem to be very, very passive when it comes to tackling abortion.
Okay.
But I want to say that the church is the best place to begin.
Okay.
And in my experience, I can say that mostly we have tried a lot. We have trained a number of leaders, as she said, because Life Equipped Global is a global organization. It stretches all the way from the US to the Asian continent to Africa. And we've been in a number of countries in Africa as well, training. And even in Kenya here, we have done a number of trainings, and we are still moving forward to equip more church leaders to be able to be confident enough to speak about abortion.
Right.
You know, when it comes to abortion, for example, most of our churches sometimes may be very conservative, and they think when a lady gets pregnant out of wedlock, what should we do? We should kick her out of the church. And most of the churches go that direction. And that's where we come in now, because most of these ladies come to fall in our hands and say, I was kicked out of the church. And my parents go to the same church. So they told me to leave their home because the church has excommunicated me. So the church needs to wake up and come to the point of knowledge that abortion is a mission field.
Okay.
And God cares about life, especially the life of the unborn. God knew Jeremiah before he was born. And he said, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. And I appointed you, anointed you, and called you to be a prophet. So God has a mission for every unborn baby. This is what the church needs to know.
Wow, wow, wow. That's amazing. God has a mission for every unborn baby. And maybe the question is, what are you doing about it as a church, as a community? You know, because I think you can put it to the whole community. And speaking about conservatism and, you know, people being, of course, kind of using the old approach. You know, you get pregnant, you know, we have nothing to do with this. And what you are describing is a very, very sad thing. So as a pastor, you're the best person to address that issue. So what should the church instead be doing? What are some of the ways that the church can actually help? Before now, Sarah has now to handle those young mothers when they come knocking at your organization's door. Speak to the pastors.
There are a number of things that the church can do in approach to this. Number one, the church should take the initiative of educating our people when it comes to matters of sexuality from a biblical perspective. Because also sexuality is an area that the church never touches on. And therefore the church as a pastor begin to teach our people about sexuality. What does God say about sex? What are the boundaries? What are the limitations? Then that will set the pace for striking a balance when it comes to handling matters of abortion. Because some churches would say, because of conservatism, they would say, if we continue to do that, we'll be condoning the sin of fornication. Now, to strike a balance, let's train our people. let's give them information. They know what to do, when to do, and how to do it.
Okay.
After that, as church, we need to create a space, a safe space, in case, because things happen.
Yeah.
Even after you train people, you teach them, a person will fall into temptation. And therefore, you need to come up with a way, you create a window of escape, like the refugee camp.
Yes.
Yes. Let this be a refugee camp in the church.
Yes.
And say, in case you find yourself, you've fallen pregnant outside wedlock, the door is open. Come, we'll talk to you.
Okay.
So you handle every case separately and say, you're pregnant, let us talk about it and see how to save the baby and also save that soul.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is how the church can do it.
Absolutely amazing.
And we pray that every church comes to a place. Actually, the vision of Life Equipped Global is to see every church running a pregnancy ministry.
Wow, 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 wow. That's amazing that every church, every community, you should actually become proactive enough and set up a pregnancy or ministry. Yeah, that's important. Of course, maybe counseling, a counseling department or a counselor or something. But you'll be telling us more about that. But let's hear from Sarah. Sarah, your experience working with church communities. What do you think the church is not doing? You know, when these young people, when they come to you, I mean, you talked about handling about 5 of them every week. What does that make you think about what's going on in the church?
Well, I think, like Pastor Wally has highly said, that the church needs to train our young people about sexuality matters concerning sex. So I think this is the area that most churches, this is where they are falling. We've been teaching them about everything else, but when it comes to sex matters, they are not informed. And I believe if we can be able to introduce these topics in church, we can be able to save many young people from this abortion thing. And then also, because I believe even if we introduce this topic in church, there are still those who will go forward and they will be involved in sex. When they get pregnant, as a church, we don't need to excommunicate them. We don't need to look at them as if they have done something out of this world. Instead, we are supposed to show them love, bring them close to God, and show them the right way. We need to, I think this is the thing that we need to show them most, love, because this is what most of them are lacking in churches. Because when they come to us, they complain of how they have been excommunicated from the church members don't want to be involved with them anymore. So I believe this is something that we can be able to do as a church. And by this, we can be able to save these young ladies, and as well, we can be able to save the children.
Wow, amazing, amazing. I remember that there was a report, a controversial report produced in the local press a few years ago about how, you know, I think it was provocative, and maybe it was designed to malign you know, evangelicals and Pentecostal communities, where it argued a lot of those women who are pregnant and involved in abortion, they also, you know, they also indicated, you know, when you're doing a survey, you know, you ask people to indicate their church affiliation. So, so these people are trying to draw a link between the rise of sexuality and a very tight connection with the Pentecostal charismatic movement. Do you think that that is the case, or do you think that maybe because Kenyans is highly Christian, all these troubles anyway are coming from communities which are also obviously Christian in a sense, and what can be done? Pastor Wally, maybe you might want to respond to that. Do you think the church can be rightly accused of condoning and allowing this, you know, sexualization to run in the communities. Do you think that the church actually could do more to stem that challenge?
Yeah, I think so, because in Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 1 to 2,
yes,
the Bible talks about the responsibility laid upon leaders.
Okay.
And you know the church is the leader in the world.
Okay.
Is the organ that projects leadership globally. When the church is silent, people don't know what to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And as we read in Judges, the Bible says in those days there were no leaders.
Yes.
And everybody did as they wished. So leadership is taking initiative.
Okay.
When the church has not taken initiative to speak about these things boldly, that's why the accusing finger comes back to the church. Even if the numbers are not really matching, but because the leadership is silent, the pointing finger will come back to the church.
Okay.
And you know, when you read in the Deuteronomy, the chapter that I've just shared, God told Israel, if you find somebody dead in a community, the leaders must go out and measure the measurement, the length between the dead body and the nearest community. The nearest community will take responsibility, whether they knew it or not.
Wow.
That is how big the responsibility is laid upon the church.
Yes.
As the leader. So, and you know, John Maxwell says everything falls or rises on leadership.
Right.
So they are right to do that. We have a right and a responsibility to take the initiative and be proactive and speak about these things and show people the direction. What do we do? When people are asking, what do we do? The church should be number one to say, we have an answer. This is what we need to do. That's why we are saying churches should be leading in having shelters to rescue these girls and also to have pregnancy ministries to educate and to offer free counseling to our young people who are so lost and confused. And therefore, because the leadership takes the highest responsibility, that's why the church, we are there.
Okay.
And therefore, we should no longer be passive. Let us rise up, teach our people about what God says, what we need to do, our boundaries and our barriers, and where we need not to step, and what young people should do. You know, let me tell you, Pastor Gigi, for some time I've worked with young people. Since mid-90s.
Yes.
I began working with young people.
Yeah.
And the most confused group of people is young people.
Okay.
They are so confused that they don't know what to do. There are very many questions that have no answers. And most of them are touching on sexuality.
Wow.
And that's why they find themselves, they have messed up. The girl is pregnant. The young man is confused. They don't know what to do. They don't have a job. They are scholars. They run off and leave the young lady stranded somewhere.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I think the truth is coming out that, yes, there are a lot of young people out there that are confused. They lack leadership and guidance, and the church must be in the forefront of leading the battle, the fight, to stem the tide of abortion. Abortion is a challenge in our modern community. That is a very big issue. Wow. Yes, so need for moral clarity. A church must not be passive. Sarah, before we go to the break, what has been your experience dealing with the pastors? Forget about the young people themselves. Let's not call them victims. They are not victims. They are people who happen to participate in sexuality at a time when they are perhaps confused about whether to carry the baby or not, and that's how they end up coming to you. Do you feel that the church leadership is lacking? What do these young people tell you?
Well, I think the church leadership is lacking, just as you've said. Because, like, for example, there are times we've gone to do trainings in some churches, and when we get there and they hear what we are coming to talk about, they're like, what is this you're coming to talk
in
church? they think these are the teachings that are supposed to be done outside church, but not in the church.
Okay.
So that is one challenge we face, especially with the pastors and leaders. So I think the earlier they embrace this thing, the higher they understand that it's something that needs to be spoken even in church. In a church service, we need to speak about it because it's something that is happening in our churches.
Wow.
It's not something that is happening only in the world, but right in our churches. It's happening.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, I think you are absolutely right, Sarah. You know, when you introduce yourself, you're coming from this organization, Live Equip Global, and you want to train the youth. You're talking about abortion, and it's the pastors are thinking, my goodness, what is this lady up to? And yeah, even being suspicious of maybe you're actually here to activate the youth to get into this or to give them an excuse. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a conversation here about pro-life pastor or pastoring, and what the church can do, how you can get involved in championing for the life of the unborn. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. Don't go away. I believe the Lord is blessing you, and we're going to be sampling your comments, so keep them coming, and may the Lord bless you so much. Don't go away, and tell us what you think about helping the church participate in this work.
Anytime, anywhere. Access inspiration that never switches off. Stuck in traffic? Elevate your mood and own the moment. Just looking busy? Make every second count. Tap into kingdom content instead. One tap, instant power, real transformation. Download the Elevate TV app now. Exclusively on Google Play. Life Church International, the Apostolic House, is taking a bold step of faith, introducing the Infinity Eastern Bypass Land Project, our mission to secure land for God's house, a place where generations will be transformed. To encourage your support, Apostle David Juma is giving a powerful gift, his transformational book, Restructuring Your Money. With every gift of only 2,000 Kenyan shillings, you receive this life-changing book, personally autographed by Apostle David, and you sow into a legacy of faith. Partner with us, possess the land, build God's house. The time is now.
Welcome back. This is the Monday Morning Digest. We are talking about pro-life pastoring or pastors, and we are talking about how you can turn your concern. A lot of people are concerned about the growing menace of abortion, and you might even know someone who actually has gone through an abortion. Most of these things are kept very, very secret, very private. We are an African community in Africa. Some of these things you don't talk about. And it's a real challenge. And Pastor Wali here is saying that the buck rests with the leaders, with the church leaders. The church leaders must not be passive. And so, so that's a very serious issue. And we want to hear more about what we can do actually to participate and to help out and to make a difference. So, Pastor Wally, one of the observations I've made is that whenever you talk about pro-life and fighting against the abortion industry, we said it's actually an industry. There are people who profit from abortion, both the procedures and the medication. And now there is off-the-counter medication. You know, you can swallow a tablet and flush out the baby and stuff like that. I mean, these are very serious issues. And we are talking about it here. We are not giving you ideas, but so that is the reality we are dealing with. How do you deal with pushback? So, Pastor Wally, once you throw yourself into the public domain and you say you are pro-life pastor, some people are going to come for you. They are going to try and see how they can demolish your character, how they can demolish your name, if they can find any reason or a picture of you somewhere. Maybe even when you are in primary school, they might actually dig that up and smear you up. Have you faced pushback, and how do you? How does a pastor stay? How do you push back against this? What's the strategy?
I think the approach is very important.
Right.
Yeah, because your approach will either expose you to some issues,
yeah,
or secure you as you fight the battle.
Right.
Jesus said we need to be as wise as a serpent, but as calm as a dove. So this is wisdom. Mm-hmm. And wisdom, when wisdom calls in the pro-life space, it says, as a pastor, number one, begin with your church. Equip your church.
Okay.
To become an army. Because these are the people who stay with the girls who become victims.
Okay.
These are the people who neighbor the young men who impregnate ladies and men who impregnate ladies and run away or disappear. Mm-hmm. So when you equip your people, that's number one.
Right.
And that's why Life Equip Club, we have a whole training that we offer to the leaders. And in that training, we have counseling skills, how they can talk to people and how they can do that. And number two, just to speak to somebody outside, because sometimes the way you say it, maligning your name and defaming you, all that can also reduce your momentum and your motivation to run the vision. But I want to say this. When your character is upright, don't mind. Yeah, because character is the backbone.
Right.
People might try to defame you and malign your name and soil your name, but what you work on, keep your character upright.
Okay.
And focus on what you're doing. And know that your past is gone. The Bible says, forget the past. God is doing something new. If you change, you might have been involved in some scandals in some years back, but then you changed. When they talk about that, they just tell them you're talking about a different person. This is a new person. I think you messed up or you missed on something.
Yes.
So focus on your work.
Right.
And be very, very, very decisive and know what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and focus on it. And be aware that when Jesus brought salvation, people didn't keep quiet. Salvation was a good thing, but everybody was after Jesus until they put him on the cross.
Okay.
So be readily aware in your mind when you are defending the right cause, an upright cause. Be ready. There are people and forces that may rise up against you. But another thing that I want to encourage the church, we as pastors, we need teamwork. Teamwork is very important. You know, when people find that you are fighting this thing from a common base, you are a strong force. The forces that are coming against begin to reduce and the momentum begin to go down because they are seeing another force that is very strong.
Right.
But when they just find Pastor Wally alone is running in the streets and saying abortion is sin, shedding of innocent blood, they say, where is this guy coming from? In fact, even the church is not backing him.
Right.
He's alone.
Yes.
So if we rise up against, even the church will support us.
Absolutely.
So I think we need to tie our forces together as the church and form a strong force. Another thing I will not forget to talk about, those forces that are really supporting abortion and advocating for abortion, one thing they do that we church we don't do
Yes.
is that they pour their heart, their energy, and their money. We church, sometimes we are very reluctant in doing the three. Pouring in our hearts, our energy, and our resources, and say we are ready, we are running with this vision.
Yes.
You know, I was shocked. I was talking to young people in one of the areas in Nairobi.
Right.
And one young person said, one man, I was trying to shoot at the young men and tell them, please be responsible, take care of this young lady. And then one young man said, no, these ladies are the ones who come to us because they want to get pregnant, because they know they have organizations that will begin to support them financially when they learn they are pregnant.
Okay. Wow.
Either to abort the baby and begin supporting them. Now the organizations you are talking about,
Right.
they will give them a lot of money to abort, then put them on a support system. So they
Wow.
can be getting pregnant, they get money to abort, and they are sustained.
Wow. Wow. So, oh, man, I'm telling you, now the truth is coming out that the battle is more than you may actually think. It is very, very complicated indeed. There are people within the industry, and that's why I called it the abortion industry, because it's like they want to keep the industry going. So they are willing to put in their money, they are willing to coordinate, and you know, you get pregnant, you're given money to abort like you're describing. That's a very serious issue.
Let me just add on something.
Yes.
I went somewhere to organize a training, and the host asked me a question. I will bring the young people together. Do you give seating allowance?
Wow.
I said, we don't give seating allowance, but we can provide a meal or something for them when they are there. Then he said, no, we have had other organizations that come to teach them on how to use contraceptives and how to do that, and they support abortion. But when they come for that meeting, they are always given a seating allowance, or either 5,000 each, 4,000 each after the session. How much are you offering?
Oh my goodness. The truth is coming out. So, Pastor Wally, this mission is very hard. Hey, mission in Gomo. Sarah, you tell us, how do you persuade these young girls, especially the ones that you are working with, and that kind of thing? You know, Pastor Wali is saying, you know, they come and tell you, when you go to the other side, they give us money. You know, you just want to convince us to keep our babies and all that. What are you giving us in return? What's been your experience?
Well, I think that's where the greatest challenge has been.
Right.
In my work so far. Because, as you said, on that other side, when they are doing abortion, they are given a lot of money. But now when they come to us with their needs, like they have various needs, they all don't have the same needs. Now a lady has come to us, maybe they don't have money for clinic, they don't know how they are going to go to deliver, after convincing them now to keep the baby. And you have to come up with a way.
Right.
Yeah, you have to think, and sometimes we find ourselves training, getting into our pockets and supporting them with the little that we have. Sometimes we can have churches come in, the churches that have already embraced the vision, but, well, the church has been supportive, but not that much, but they have been supportive. And sometimes we can talk to other organizations, because as pro-life, we are many. So we can reach out to other pro-lifers, maybe in some other organizations. They can be able to help us with clothes, with money, if they're in a position to. That's how we cope with this.
Wow,
but
wonderful.
it's very challenging.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think you're giving us very, very good light because, Pastor Awali, that's where I think the disconnection comes in. People don't really appreciate how serious the challenge is. Yeah. And then once you get on the ground, there are so many dynamics and forces. Yeah. So you call for a seminar, or you have these young women you want to work with, or rather you're supporting, they have come to you, and then you actually then discover that they're actually looking across the fence in another organization there, where they know if they go there, well, things are going to be easier. Yeah. So that's a real challenge. So of course now, what then does the church do? How do we organize, aside from having a counseling maybe unit, or a brother, or a small, let's call it a church support group, where the girls can be counseled and all that. How do you deal with the issue of finances? How do you raise partners? So that then you can make this thing, the vision, work.
Actually, we are out here lobbying the church to become part of what we are doing, to come on board. And it is not only just money, it is about resources. Okay. When a lady is in crisis pregnancy, even a believer can say, okay, I can shelter that lady, because for say every week, whenever people come to church, somebody comes with a packet of diapers, put there, anything that will be required, baby clothes, put there, so that whenever need arises, there is something in the bank. Okay. You can say, we have some baby clothes, we have some diapers, we have some of this, and we can support the lady. Yeah. We have seen some churches coming up and say, okay, so that lady is in crisis and she has delivered. Yes. She has no support. Yes. And then they say, okay, we are going to put together some food stuff and take it to her. Okay. Those are ways of support. And church can come in to support in many, many ways. We are also planning and trusting God to put up a very good, reliable shelter in Nairobi, whereby some of these women in crisis can find shelter before the full term. And therefore, this is a place where the church can say, okay, we can put our efforts together, because it's not a personal thing. This is a project for the body of Christ and also for the community to save lives. So the church can come in and be part of that. And another way the church can be supportive is opening doors for us. Opening doors for us to be able to train their leaders, equip their leaders, so that they have qualified, competent people in the church to handle any case that arises. Okay. Because there are some cases that may not need necessarily material support, but they just need psychosocial support. Okay. So if the church leaders are equipped, then we know. So we are trying to make sure every corner has been sealed up. Okay. When it comes to resources, the doors are open. The church can become part of support of this program. When it comes to opening the doors so that the members and the church leaders are equipped with skills, the door is also open so that we make sure in every aspect, no life will be lost.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Pastor Wali. Truly appreciate the amazing work you're doing, and with Pastor Sarah here, and Pastor Karen here is saying important conversation in the present times, and she is adding that love covers a multitude of sin. Let's have room for those who fall by the wayside. That's a very, very encouraging. Thank you very much, Karen, for that comment. She is following this conversation. And, my sister Sarah here, do you think, are there other organizations and partnerships aside from Life Equip Global? Are there other organizations that you partner with? So, for example, do you get some help from hospitals? Are there some hospitals, for example, who are willing, to provide maybe a one-off or two-off, 3-4 days delivery service, as partners of this particular ministry? Or do you think that, or is there a call for hospitals, medical facilities, or even medical practitioners who can come in and actually help those mothers as part of their ministry?
Well, yes, I think we have doctors who we are working together with in pro-life. We have pro-life doctors, and this one comes in hand, especially when we have a lady who wants to reverse the abortion.
Okay.
Because these are cases that we get also, like a lady had already begun doing the abortion, they have already taken the pills, and the abortion process has already begun. And before the process is complete, they now come back to their senses and they think, I need to stop this thing. And now they get to us. And when they come to us, we have the doctors whom we call and we connect them with the ladies, and the ladies get help. And with that, we've been able to save babies through reversal of abortions. There are some babies whom we've been able to save so far. But hospitals, we don't have an hospital that we can say we have a girl who is completely stuck. They don't know how they are going to get the delivery fee, where we can take them. I think if we can get an hospital, if there is an hospital out there, maybe somebody is watching us and they have a facility where we can be able to bring these ladies, especially those that we don't know what to do with them. Because at times we get ladies and we get so many cases. Sometimes we can have so many cases at once and we run out of money. We don't know what to do. We call everybody that we know, but still it's hard to raise the kind of money that they need. So we would like to urge hospitals, if there is a facility out there, if there is a person who knows a facility that can be of help to us, they can reach out to us, and this will be of great relief to us.
Wow, wonderful. That's a very good call out there. If you're there, you are a medical practitioner or you run a facility and you would like to spare some of your extra capacity and space and resources, you can actually help out in, championing for pro-life, saving one more life. We're talking about almost close to 1 million lives lost every year in Kenya. 73 million abortions globally per year. That's I think I read somewhere in your organization's website, that's more than the population of Texas, and of course more than the population of Kenya. So the world is losing so much life out there. And so I think churches must arise, community leaders must arise. Sarah is here calling on you. Pastor Wally is here calling on you. So how else, Pastor Wally, can people support? Maybe prayer, spiritual support, spiritual dynamics. Because maybe if you don't have the resources, perhaps you can offer counseling. You can offer maybe just to come meet the girls and pray with them and help them and encourage them, something like that. Do you think, do you need that kind of help? And is there opportunity for people who would like to get involved, maybe just offering just counsel and you call it psychosocial support. Maybe we call it spiritual social support.
Okay.
Yeah, speak to that.
Yeah, so actually I want to say that this journey has been a challenge, but the Lord has been our strength.
Yes.
And most of the time some cases have come before us that were so technical, so critical, and we just went to pray. I remember some ladies came and we were like, okay, so she said that. We don't know what to do, so what do? We talk to her very well and we assure her there is hope.
Yes.
So she goes home knowing in the next 2-3 days, things will be sorted out.
Yes.
But after she steps out, we put our hands together and say, now, Lord, what do we do? But we thank God, always the Lord has opened a door.
Okay.
And therefore, I want to urge or advocate for open doors from churches. And also, number 2, we have our office along the Eastern Bypass.
Okay.
at 𝗪𝗶𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃 apartment that is just a short distance from Ruai bypass on your way to Ruiru. And our contact number, our contact numbers are here. I can give them out.
Yes.
Yeah, you can reach us and we can collaborate. You can, if you are ready to offer yourself, to offer support, you can reach us on 0721 27 87 32.
Okay.
And 0710
Okay.
426 406. You can reach out to us and we can see areas we can collaborate. Very key, I urge every church, if you can open your door and say, come equip our leaders, because also through that equipment of training, we are building a network of prayer. So when we go to train, we identify some intercessors, prayer warriors, and put them together, people who can stand in the gap and pray against this menace of abortion. And also, we put our hands together to be a support system for these girls.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, this is so good. Pastor Wali, I think when you mentioned to me and you shared with me about this particular organization and initiative, I was very, very impressed and very happy that, yes, you're doing an amazing job. You're doing an amazing job, and this is a major initiative that needs the support of every church, every pastor, every church community. We need to do something. We need to arise and help our children, our communities. Every life that is saved means that, and this can be a beginning point for someone actually to find their way to the Lord. Maybe Sarah, you can tell us, have you had, some of these girls, after the ordeal is over, they completely are transformed, and kind of that crisis becomes a doorway for their spiritual transformation? Give us some of the testimonies. I hope you have wonderful testimonies of people who have turned around. It started off as a crisis, but now it has turned out as a blessing.
Oh, yes. That has been happening. We have ladies who have completely transformed after coming to us. And then we have worked with them through the journey of the pregnancy, counseling them, offering them all the support that we called, especially spiritual supports, because this is something that we do. Whenever they come to us, those who are near us, we try as much as possible to make sure that they are going through a class. We ensure that we are helping them to know the Bible, to understand the love of God, and know that Christ still loves them, even in their state. And even them that are far from us, we connect them with other people whom we know that they will help them to come back to Christ and bring them up in the ways of Christ. So I have seen ladies transform completely, and they are standing for Christ, and they are helping us in advocating for life.
Wow, yes. Wow. Yeah, so some of the people you have worked with then turn to be the very champions to help others, recover and come out of the crisis. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, so here we are, we're talking about life, pastoring or pastors, and because some of you are concerned, some of you meet these abortionists, or you hear about the pro-life work, and maybe you've not been involved. It is time actually to come out of the shadows and get busy, get cracking. Here, I want to give you the numbers that Pastor Wali has shared with us again. They are located around Ruai bypass at the junction near there, and the numbers are 0721 278732. That's one of the numbers. The other one is 0710 426 406. That's the numbers. Those are the numbers you can use to reach out to Pastor Wali and Pastor Sarah here, and you can actually become part of the solution. There are serious implications whenever an abortion takes place. Pastor Wali, in the very short time we have, I want you to look at that camera and speak to somebody out there, maybe a pastor or a young person that has gone through that trouble, that there is hope, and they can always reach out for help. And also pastors who would like to get involved, how they can actually participate. So in a very, very brief way, look at your camera.
Oh yes, thank you very much for this moment. And I just want to say to you, pastor who is watching from outside there, this is a platform where you can open a door to your church. Reach out to us. We are ready and willing to collaborate with you, train your people, train your leaders. Some of you are bishops, you have churches. And also, if you have conferences or functions that you are running, you can also give us a spot or a slot in those programs. And we just come in and share with the people in a few minutes and let people begin to wake up and know what is happening in the outside world and even in the inside world. And for anybody that might be in a crisis right now, I want to tell you, there is always hope. Don't lose hope. Don't throw in the towel and say it is done. There is still hope, and we are here. You can reach out to us through the numbers we have shared, and we will reach out to you and see how we can walk with you through the journey until you are stable again.
God bless you so much. Sarah, look at that camera and your parting shot as well.
Thank you. I think my parting shot will be our dear parents out there. I would urge you, when our girls get to this messy thing and they are now pregnant, please stop closing them out, stop chasing them from the houses, because this is one of the things that is causing them to go and conduct abortions. And also the church, please, let's show them love, because our Christ, whom we are emulating, whom we are walking after, he showed us love. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pastor Wally and Pastor Sarah, for coming in on the show. We're so delighted, and thank you very much indeed. It's been an amazing conversation, and I believe those out there that have been following this conversation, you will have some insights. Please turn your concern into action. Do something about it. Reach out, and let's all help push back the tide of abortion and make Kenya a better place. May the Lord bless you. Have a great week. This is the Monday Morning Digest. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.